Yeah.
I've been,
Good.
I've been watching Takeshi's
good.
Castle, like the revived version. Very funny. It's like Wipeout, but it's Japanese and it's really good. And there's so much going on. Like it's a show where they compete, but there's also storylines as well with the hosts. And there's like 10 different hosts. It's fucking insane. It's like the most sensory overload show.
I need to show you Taskmaster because it's like 16 seasons now.
Jesus
There's
Christ.
so much content. It's so good. They do 2 a year every 6 months, pretty much.
Wow.
It's so good.
Anyway,
Do you know what it is?
I've heard of it many times.
Well, it's a classic British comedy gold.
Yeah.
It even has the guy. The current season going on. It has Steve Pemberton, who was in.
Oh yeah. I know Steve
Pemberton.
I know of Greg Davies.
Yeah. Little Alex Horn.
Anyway,
it's so good. I need to show you it at some point.
Yup. Anyway, hello and welcome to our review of AEW Dynasty 2024. Yeah, we are... Well, for this, we're talking about predictions first. This was me defending half of my belt. Because I have half the belt and Regan has the other half. And funnily enough, the... not that it would have made any difference because I beat you 12 to 10.5, right? I did win. But funnily enough, at the end of the predictions, I randomly said, up the ante, will Jack Perry appear on the show? And we both said, no, it's not going to happen. I wish I said yes. I had this inkling, and then I was like, no, it's not going to happen. And then it did happen. So I just wanted to point that out. But yes, we have had the AEW Dynasty. There's also been an episode of Dynamite. Usually when we do these reviews on like a Thursday, there would have been a Dynamite, several hours beforehand. So we have a bit more Aftershock context. But yeah, going into this, we were excited for the stacked card, but we also had a bit of trepidation, mainly because of the CM Punk stuff from a couple of weeks before, and because Chris Jericho was on the show. But we also were excited for other stuff as well. But yeah, before we get into any specific matches, your overall initial thoughts on AEW Dynasty?
As always, AEW always deliver on pay-per-views. Very good wrestles. The wrestling was impeccable for the most part. Some really great matches. Again, my issue with AEW pay-per-views, they are too long. They're always too long. They're always too long by an hour to half an hour. And I wish they would just cut down on these matches because not everybody needs to be on the card. Especially if there's going to be an increase in pay-per-views now. Because this is the first Dynasty. And now we've got Forbidden Door, All In, All Out, Double or Nothing obviously coming up soon. World's End,
Wrestle Dream.
There's so many pay-per-views now. There's like 8 pay-per-views a year.
And they're all 4 hours.
It's so much. It's so much. And by the end of the show, you feel like you could have cut a couple matches. You could have cut like 3 matches and it'd be fine.
Do you reckon if they, the better idea would be to only have the big 4 be 4 hours? Like Revolution, Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I feel like All In.
A little bit more than that. I mean, you could probably do All In and maybe Forbidden Door because it's got New Japan guys on it. Yeah. Like with Forbidden Door, you want to have as many matches as you can because there's so many people to choose from. And especially this year, considering that we're likely to get Stardom and CMLL involved as well, which will make it even more interesting. But regardless, yeah, if it was Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, All In, All Out, Full Gear that were 4 hours, and then Dynasty, Wrestle Dream, and World's End were 3 or 3.5. That would probably be an improvement. But yeah, would you say that, yeah, like as per usual with this company, this was a pretty rock solid show and had some really high highs on it.
Yeah, I definitely would say so. I think there's a lot of really great stuff coming out of this pay-per-view.
As always with AEW pay-per-views, seemingly since we've started reviewing them, especially since All Out, I want to say, it's weird they always do this either at the halfway point or 3/4 into the show. They basically go, right, this is going to be a match of the year contender, and every single time they deliver.
Yeah, it's always the last 3 matches of the show, which are, I would say, their biggest matches they put on.
Well, there's a specific match they always place near the middle or 3/4 in. At All Out, it was Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks. At Wrestle Dream, it was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson. At Full Gear, it was Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page in the Texas Death Match. And then at World's End, it was Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage. And then at Revolution, it was Takeshita versus Ospreay, I think, was the one. Although, to be fair, Revolution had fucking match of the year. Almost every match on that bloody card was match of the year. That was just an insane show as a whole. But I think I specifically remember Ospreay versus Takeshita being the highlight. And then this show had Ospreay versus Danielson on it. Which we will get to. I do have a couple of negatives with this show, I do, but most of it is great. Most of the show was really, like, I would say about 3 hours of this 4-hour show were fantastic, and then there was 1 hour that was either just okay or bad. So it's not the most consistent pay-per-view they've done, but the stuff that they did that was really good was exceptional.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about the pre-show first. Half an hour of video packages, really good stuff.
You know what I did for the first time for this pre-show? I upped the speed on YouTube to get through them quicker.
Well, there we go then. Yeah, so we had 3 matches, and there was a bit of an angle on this one as well. Because of the whole best friends thing that they've been doing with Trent and Orange Cassidy, that caused there was a connection between the 2 matches, which was interesting.
Yeah, it was similar to what pay-per-view was it? It was all out,
yes,
wasn't it?
All Out, MJF and Joe.
The opener to the Samoa Joe Shane Taylor match.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it was on the kickoff.
Yeah.
So we started with Trent Beretta versus Matt Sydal. For most of this match, I was not actually looking at my screen because I was either sorting out my food or I was doing something with the kitchen. I was just like getting things ready and putting my phone on charge and looking for my wallet. So I was a bit busy during it, but I did catch. I caught a few moments. It was a really nicely good technical match, and Trent won because he's on with momentum. This felt like a good Rampage match.
Yeah,
to me.
Meaning it probably should have been on Rampage or Dynamite. Yeah. This match next week maybe on Dynamite.
What they used to do back in the day in the Fed is the pre-show would be just another episode of Sunday Night Heat, and it was before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which
I remember.
Rampage is basically Sunday Night Heat, isn't it?
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's 2 days before.
Well, let me put it this way. Rampage in its first 6 months to a year was actually like Sunday Night Heat back in the Attitude Era. And then ever since Collision came along, it's basically become what Heat was. It basically is what Heat was when SmackDown was a thing.
I mean, yeah, it's Rampage is cable television dark. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what it is.
I think it's probably more accurate to compare it to Elevation, not Dark, because Dark was very Ring of Honor is dark. Ring of Honor is cable dark. Yeah. Well, it's not even cable; it's online.
Yeah, it's not even on cable. That's why I made that comparison.
It's dark. Ring of Honor is dark, but with titles.
Yeah. Yeah. This match was solid. I don't really have any more notes. I think Trent looked okay.
There was a sick pile driver. I'll say that.
There was.
Matt Sydal
Yeah,
does. Matt Sydal's good at doing like the Family Guy cell. He did it in WWE as well.
No, you know who's the king of Family Guy sales is Tony Khan.
Oh yes, on Dynamite. Oh my! I can't believe his dad was there. That was crazy. Shad
Two
Khan was there.
billionaires in the oh Jesus Christ.
That was I love that segment for two reasons. One of them is like for genuine reasons, and one of them is for irony. I love it because I feel like they've actually figured out what to do with Jack Perry, and the other reason why I love it is it's fucking hilarious to watch Tony Khan take bumps.
Yeah, because he can't.
Because he's such a goof.
He's so weird. He's such a weird person. The way he falls, it's like he got shot in the stomach, but then after a couple seconds, it's like, oh my tummy. Ugh.
He's like the skinniest nerd. He's such a nerd.
He's such a nerd.
Yeah, but that has its positives because it means that he gives us wrestling we want to see, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time anyway. So yeah, Trent versus Matt Sydal was fine, and then they had a little run-in. That's basically the best thing I can say about this match is the run-in with Orange Cassidy at the end. And then there was a tag team match with Orange Cassidy and Shibata versus Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. I really like Lee Moriarty. I always have, ever since sort of 2021.
He's got such a great look, and it feels like he just hasn't done anything for years.
And he's a great wrestler.
Most he did recently was shit with the firm, and that went nowhere.
I remember a few years ago he had a match on Dynamite with Bryan Danielson, and it was a banger.
Yes, it was really good, and he just literally doesn't do anything. And now they're doing. I'm assuming this is a Ring of Honor thing. Shane Taylor Promotions.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
When is it? When is he going to? When is he going to feud with the Blackpool Combat Club? Because he's one of the names they mentioned 2 years ago. They mentioned Wheeler Yuta, and he got part of it. Then they've mentioned Daniel Garcia, who has been in and out. Like he's been with Danielson, then out of it. Although it seems like the Blackpool Combat Club is kind of they're kind of separating a bit at the moment, just sort of doing their own thing. But it's not like they're not a thing, but they're just not really together. I mean,
I think it's more of a separation, like they're faction members, kind of thing.
Probably the reason why this has happened is because Wheeler Yuta got injured.
Yeah.
And Mox and Claudio were a tag team for a bit, but now Mox is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, which is insane. Does that and what that makes me think?
First hold WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling World Titles.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think? Because one of the reasons why, like, Forbidden Door is a great concept, but one of the problems with it is that the world title matches are too predictable because you know that the champion's going to retain. I think what this could do is we could actually see the IWGP title change hands on that show, because it could be Mox going into the show as champion, and then one of the New Japan guys wins it off him. Which would make it a little bit more interesting. Anyway, this tag match was again a solid TV match. I mean, Orange Cassidy is always over anyway. The hands and pockets thing, he does so many different things with it with different people.
It's always fun.
The dynamic with Shibata is fun because Shibata is supposed to be like this really serious shoot style wrestler, but he's wrestling with like the funniest guy. But the good thing about it is that Cassidy has his serious sides. Obviously, his feud with Moxley last year showed that, and also Shibata has his funny sides as well. Two things I want to say. Firstly, Shane Taylor hits the fattest leg drop on the apron I've ever seen. It was great. And Lee Moriarty is a great worker.
Yeah.
But apart from that, this was, again, a Rampage match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. Again, the kickoff show is not... It doesn't usually hold a massive match unless it's like Eddie Kingston versus insert Japanese legend here. And then after that, we had, I guess, the main event of the pre-show, which it does annoy me that this was on the pre-show, and I wish it was swapped with another match, because I think that I just... Okay, so we have the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus Jay White and the Guns, the Bullet Club Gold. I'm very, very torn on this match, because there's parts I like and there's parts I really don't like about this. So, obviously, we've said in the past, Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed have been, at times, great acts. They've been very over. Mm-hmm. At this point, both of them have suffered from booking. The biggest culprit of that being Jay White, because he's supposed to be a main event star, world title material.
Should be.
The thing that I hated about this match is that Billy Gunn was no-selling Jay White's offense. That's the worst thing.
Well, I don't get why they're having Billy Gunn kind of be the star of the show. He was always the one who out-juked the Guns, out-juking Jay White, and it's just and he's been doing it for weeks now.
So
and it feels really strange. It feels like at this point the whole Daddy Ass stuff should have ended like 6 months ago. No, it feels like they're just treading water, and it's just sort of this. They need to evolve. The Acclaim need to evolve away from it, because it was really good for the time they did it. All in, it was a nice moment, but then it really should have ended quite a while ago. And
I mean, the House of Black, you know, Billy Gunn on a spiral could have been really interesting. Anyway,
This incarnation of the Acclaimed is like season 6 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's really harsh. Well, the problem is that people actually talk really good shit about season 6, whereas most people kind of agree the Acclaimed are on a spiral, or at least
I'm talking more about what the actual reality is instead of what people's perceptions are.
I think it's more specifically Max Caster and Billy Gunn are on a spiral, and Anthony Bowens is death by association.
Anthony Bowens is always great. Anthony Bowens is awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Anthony Bowens. I think it's death by association with him. Now, in this match, if it was Billy no-selling his son's offense, that's fine, because it's his boys. But Jay White is better than that. Jay White is a world champion type kind of wrestler.
I feel like I've realized something with this match, that I actually think I'm a Guns apologist. I actually really like the Guns.
I do too. But psychology-wise, Billy Gunn no-selling his son's offense makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's just he shouldn't be doing it with Jay White. Jay White is so much better than that.
Definitely not. No.
One of the reasons why Bullet Club Gold on CM Punk's Collision was so great is because you have 3 goofballs in the group who can wrestle and can talk, but Jay White is different because he's actually cool, and he's actually
like a world-class talent.
He feels like an actual cool guy, and you've got Juice and the Guns that are clinging on to his stardom. Whereas now it feels like that Jay White is one of the goofballs, and that is a problem.
Yeah, it feels bad, man.
Yeah,
feels bad, man.
Jay White was booked a lot better when CM Punk was in the office. I'll say that much.
No lies detected there.
Yeah.
So now they've combined the 2 tiles into one trios tile.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what this is going to achieve, realistically.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think I said this on either predictions or the previous pay-per-view or something. I don't like I don't like there being a trios division and a tag team division in the same company. That's just something I think I personally just don't like, because it feels like it's limiting the amount of talent. You're spreading the talent too far thin.
Well, the trios division is a tricky one because you need 3 people, which is a lot.
That's why I say pick one. Either you do trios or you do tag teams.
Yeah. Now, what I said before is the reason why trios worked in Lucha Underground is because it was intergender, so you had more people to work with. You had men and women. Son of Havoc, Evilise, and Angelico. That was a great time. Anyway, but yes, this is an issue.
This is also a really long match. This match went on a while as well.
It did, because Billy Gunn was kicking out of everything. Which, what the fuck? But again, I feel like it would be better if it was just the tag titles and the Freebird rule allows trios to compete within the division.
Yeah, exactly. That pretty much. Yeah, that's always ideal.
Yeah, that works for me. Right. So yeah, Jay White got the pin. They finished it in a way they should have, but just the way they got there frustrated me.
Yeah, the execution of it all.
Both of these teams need something new. They need to be refreshed because
oh boy, do they!
The Acclaimed are stale and need to turn heel,
really stale.
Or they need to split or something like that. And Bullet Club Gold are great, but they're being booked not well. I hope when Juice Robinson comes back, they give them something new. Yeah. Do you think maybe Juice Robinson's injury has really fucked all the plans up? Because in my mind, if Juice Robinson and the Guns were going for the trios titles and Jay White was doing his own thing, it might not seem as damaging.
Okay, then don't have them. Did they win the trios titles before or after Juice was injured?
I think it was after. He's been injured for a while.
Yeah, then don't have them. Don't have them win the trios belts.
Yeah,
they don't need the trios belts. You can put Jay in after the Continental Classic. You can put Jay in a feud with like anybody, any face in the company that you have that's sort of on the up. You can put him in a feud.
I'm sure there's someone out there.
There's plenty on the roster.
Yeah.
Like imagine right now, if they hadn't have him, say maybe he had a filler feud. I don't know.
Eddie Kingston didn't have a match on the show.
He had a trios match.
Oh, did he? Oh, I've completely forgotten.
Yeah, he was on Team Copeland.
Sorry,
but I get your point in the fact that he could have had a singles match with Jay White. He could have. There's absolutely something they could have done, and then you could have done after this Swerve versus Jay. That would have been cool for Double or Nothing. If Hangman's not going to come back anytime soon.
Well, I mean, again, there's just options. There's lots of options. Anyway.
Yeah, and they choose the worst one every single fucking time when it comes to Jay White.
Yeah.
Just don't have him win the trios belts. It's
imagine if we'd gotten a CM Punk Jay White feud. Wouldn't that have been fun?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Anyway, that was the pre-show. That doesn't really count. Let's talk about the actual pay-per-view.
The main show.
Yup. So we start with the Continental Championship match between Kazuchika Okada and the Bastard Pack. I loved this match. I thought it was great.
It was so cool.
Yep. A few things to mention. First thing I can remember off the top of my head, DDT to the floor. Pac does Death Cell. That was great. What else is there? I can't. There's so many details. I'm trying to remember what even happens in this match. There's so much that happens. Like the red arrow to the floor, and then there was one where Okada got his knees up and hit him right in the face. Yeah, the athleticism, the storytelling. Okada, the best moment in the match. Okada goes for the Rainmaker taunt and pulls the finger at the crowd. That was hilarious. Yeah, Okada is a nasty bastard of a heel, and he's been doing great stuff. I love him.
Yeah, instead of doing the Rainmaker pose, he just does the big old fuck you.
I just love how he spent so many years as the face of New Japan, and now he's a heel.
Yeah, now he's a heel. He's a dastardly heel, and he's doing a really good job at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match cooked. This match was really, really good.
I knew it was going to be a great match. I didn't expect it to be this level, though. They gave this extra. I was like, oh, it's the opening match. They might hold back a bit. No, they really didn't. This was fucking great. I think it's overshadowed because there was a match later in the show that was more talked about, but this was also fantastic. Okada, despite being in the business for so many years, has still got it. Pac, as always, is great. I love how like over the top Okada's facials are. One of the things that I get a little bit tired of in American wrestling is the reacting after a pinfall attempt gets kicked out of, which always gets kicked out of. That is a trope that annoys me. But when Okada does it, he does it in a way that is different. He does it, instead of it being like, I am so shocked this happened, which when you shouldn't be, it's more like him just being like, oh, for God's sake, like he's just so frustrated. He's just so annoyed at what's just happened, and that makes it better. One other detail I loved, and this is something that you just don't see with American wrestling because they're just not trained this way, is that Okada, being the polite Japanese man he is, he like signals to the cameraman to like move out the way so he can climb up the top rope so that they don't get hit. It's fascinating. But yeah, the moves were crisp, the storytelling was good, the crowd was hot. I want to say actually the St. Louis crowd was hot for them a lot of this show. Very, very great crowd. And Okada retained, and I was very satisfied. Just a banger of a match. You give your thoughts.
Yeah, this match was awesome. It was a really good opener to the show. Okada looked great. Pac, as always, every match I see him wrestling, he's always just the fucking best. He's so fucking good. Yeah, this match ruled. So many great spots. I think Okada is legitimately doing some really good work as a heel, and
unexpected work as well.
It's
not what you'd think.
Yeah, exactly. Not when you thought when he was going to be signing. Did you think they would have turned him heel and actually be as good as it is? Yeah, absolutely the right choice to put the belt on him. And this story is just really, really good at the moment. Everything to do with Okada.
I think I put my finger on it with Okada. Why he's working so well off the bat. He has a lot in terms of the way he plays this heel character and the way he wrestles and the way he reacts to the crowd. He reminds me a lot of Randy Orton. And I'm not just saying that because he did that big draping DDT, but it's the way he uses his charisma and his, dastardliness to get reactions. It reminds me a lot. Obviously, there is some differences. Language is different. He's Japanese, and he works a different style athletically. But I see a lot of comparisons between the two, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. I mean, they obviously Randy Orton's a lot more jacked, but they have a similar height. They're about 6'4". They both do a really good drop kick. They have that, the pacing of the match. They use the crowd to their advantage. Yeah. Anyway, you continue.
Yeah, it was very nice. They seem to be doing this on every pay-per-view, at least for one wrestler, when they have these kind of matches, is have a standing ovation for people like Pac. And it's really nice to see that they gave him that moment.
Yeah.
After quite the match.
It's crazy how people said that Okada wouldn't translate to American wrestling, but he's done exactly that. He's been exceptional.
So good. He's done such a good job.
Yeah. Like, some people who don't really know New Japan that well would say, oh, is he one of those guys that does flippy shit and hits really hard? It's like, no, that's not what makes Okada great. He makes every simple little detail so effective. That's why he's great. He's an attention to detail kind of wrestler, and that's why he was the top guy in New Japan. There's lots of guys in New Japan that can do athletic stuff, especially in the junior division. But what Okada does that puts him head and shoulders above is that ability to get the most out of every movement and every moment. That is what makes him a great storyteller, on top of being a great athlete as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've seen it so many times and we take it for granted, but Pac's outside springboard moonsault never fails to amaze me how high he gets with it.
So good. Gets so much height on it, yeah.
He doesn't just go to the middle, like he launches his legs onto the top rope and then jumps up and does a moonsault. Like, it's insane how athletic he is.
And also Puck's deadlift suplex is always just so good.
Yep.
Anytime he does it, always so good.
I remember now. There was another moment that I just like I got out of my seat. I was so excited about. Was when Okada was like he was chaining him up and he reversed him and he pulled him into a fireman's carry, and then Puck reversed him and transitioned it into a standing. What's that submission he does? The I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. But it's that sort of abdominal stretch submission he does, and Okada was standing up. I was like, holy shit, that's really a great counter.
Such a good spot.
The brutalizer, that's what it's called. It's called the brutalizer.
Yeah, because he was gonna go for landing him on his shoulder, on his knee, like he did earlier in the match. But this time he reversed it into the abdominal stretch, which was really cool.
Yeah, the brutalizer. It was amazing.
Yeah, and then scratches him in the eye.
Yeah,
to get out of it. Near the end of the match, Okada, before Pat goes for the finish, he grabs the ref by his leg, like the scurry little heel he is, to buy him some time.
Yeah, and also just to mention again, like with both of these guys, all the little details of everything, especially the strikes, everything is crisp, timed well, looks great. They make it look easy, but it's not easy. This is decades of perfecting their craft to make matches this easy to get good. Like, it's just so effortless. Yeah, I don't even know why I was surprised that it was this great. Like, they are just two of the best, most consistently great in-ring performers. Every match they have so much to offer, and they hardly make any mistakes, and that is impressive, given, especially with Pac's style, but you can tell he has a lot of practice, and also Pac's physique has always been very impressive, which allows him to do things, without being held down. So, yeah, this started the show with an absolute bang. I have no complaints. Mm-hmm. This was awesome.
Super good.
Yeah, and Okada as Continental Champion is great. I am curious to see if he holds it till the end of the year and defends it in the tournament, or if he loses it before then. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Mm-hmm. But I do like what Tony Khan is doing, and he's putting all the mid-card belts on big names, which is helping elevate their prestige.
Yeah, which you should do. In some cases, you should do that.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess Roderick Strong isn't necessarily as big of a name as Okada or Adam Copeland.
But he's a respectable name to hold on to a mid-card belt.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like it
has a purpose.
A prize worth winning.
It has a purpose.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, before Roddy Strong, it was Orange Cassidy who is when you look at
who's doing really good stuff.
Yeah, and when you look at AEW as a business, Orange Cassidy is one of their biggest ratings draws.
Since day one, yeah.
He does massive numbers. I think his match with Pac from Revolution 2020 is one of their most viewed YouTube videos. It's like something ridiculous. It's like that and the Mike Tyson Jericho thing and like the Shaq match all have a lot of views. Mm-hmm. Pac got a standing ovation after this match, and he walked out. He stayed in character as well. I loved that about him. He stayed in character, and he's just like, no, I can't. Like he looked like he was almost about to like embrace the crowd, and then he went, nah, I can't do this. Stayed heel. Mm-hmm. Also, let's not forget, this was a heel versus heel match, and they still pulled it off.
Yeah, they made Pac play face because he can work that even with this character.
But to be fair, I would say he's more of a tweener in AEW. He's kind of more of a tweener.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a tweener. but he played the face in this match.
He comes out the heel tunnel, but that's because he wants to appear like edgy and cool.
Because that's the sort of character more so than
it's just because he's from Newcastle. That's why.
That's why he's a fucking Geordie.
This is everyone from Newcastle as a heel.
Hey, Geordies.
Bloody Dylan and Evie, both from Newcastle, both heels, because they just can't help themselves but be.
Yeah,
can't help themselves.
Fuck Newcastle. Fuck Newcastle.
In Newcastle.
No way, like.
I was watching the match and a bloody Pac didn't win. I had a fucking spasm myself. Anyway, moving on. We have the trios match that I forgot happened.
Yep, because it was, to be quite honest, it wasn't that memorable.
Yeah, we had the House of Black versus the TNT champion.
So why isn't this not Aleister Black versus Adam Copeland for the TNT championship?
Because apparently Malachi Black, according to Tony Khan, can't do singles matches.
Why?
Injuries, I guess.
Oh, but he can do a 6-man tag. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so, because it gives him like time to rest. I don't know. That's what everyone thinks. They think that Tony Khan's being an overprotective helicopter dad or something. Regardless, if this was Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black...
You can't do a 10-12 minute match one-on-one for the TNT championship.
I don't know. I mean, I know that...
I guarantee they'll have a singles match on Collision for the title.
Look, I know that...
in like 3 weeks.
I think Malachi Black recently had his first singles match in like 2 years. And it was very short.
Yeah, like a month ago.
I know that he like 2022, he had some time off because he had issues with his spine.
Yes.
Which is fair enough, but like, look, okay, if it's the man himself saying I can't do singles matches, I get that. I'm all for that because that's Tony Khan protecting his talent. But if it's Tony Khan telling him, no, I'm not allowing you to have singles matches, I think that's a bit of an L. I think it should be... I don't know. I feel I would like Malachi Black to have more singles matches, but I don't really... It's possible that it's a discussion between the talent and the promoter, and it's not really our business. That is possible, but... based on what I know, I hope that more singles matches would be possible, is what I would say. Anyway, I was a bit distracted during this match because Mark Briscoe looks like my friend Anthony, who's been on this channel, and we were talking about it amongst our flat. We were like, oh, look at that guy, he looks like you. And Anthony's like, oh, shit, he does. But with less teeth.
With way less teeth.
Mark Briscoe got a really cool moment in this match where he stepped over the post and did a flip. That was fun.
That was cool.
Yep. And Buddy Matthews looked like he went to the tanning salon and instead of getting a tan, he got burnt. But that's just the price of being ginger, I guess. So very interestingly, Malachi Black pinned Adam Copeland in this match.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I mean, he will most likely definitely get a title match on TV.
He bloody well should.
Yeah. It's the thing about this whole thing, right? It just makes me miss Christian Cage.
It does, yeah.
I really miss that gimmick.
Yeah,
I feel like what this match has made me reminded me of like how much I enjoyed that run, and like I like Copeland a lot. It kind of just feels like he's doing a whole bunch of nothing at the moment.
Do you know why? Because he's a babyface. That's why.
Why is that? Yeah.
As a babyface, he
had a match with Garcia recently, didn't he?
Yes. As I was gonna say, throughout his career, the only time he works as a babyface is when he's tagging with Christian or he's feuding with Christian. Because apart from that, he's way better as a heel.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
which is why the Judgment Day thing annoyed me because it got cut short.
Yeah, but they were going to do goofy, spooky shit, so...
Well, I mean, if he was still in the
I think
Judgment Day
it was for the best that they cut him out, really.
It would have been interesting
Because
to
eventually
see... Look, if Triple H had taken over just a few months earlier, that would have been nice. I'll say that.
Yeah, it would have been...
I mean, to be fair, if he'd taken over a few years earlier, Jesus.
Oh, man, imagine the place the company would be in right now.
Yeah.
He's already doing very well.
When he had retired from in-ring and moved on from Black and Gold, he should have just taken over the main roster.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he did have that heart issue, and he had to get past that, but I feel like WrestleMania 38, he should have just been like, okay.
Imagine if that didn't happen. Where would NXT 2.0 happened? Probably not.
I'm not sure, because the thing is, the repackage happened regardless of the fact that he had the heart issue. It just kind of sped things up.
Right.
I mean,
it
just pisses me off because we were going
a bit weapon selling.
What pisses me off about it is that we were going to get Kyle O'Reilly as NXT champion. That was going to happen if Black and Gold had run its course. But a little thing called AEW Dynamite happened, and Black and Gold got really, really bad ratings. And Vince was not happy about that. Especially because at the time Black and Gold ended, AEW was at its peak of popularity, because it was like, oh, CM Punk's about to come in, MJF is in the pinnacle, and Kenny Omega is world champion, and Christian Cage is there, and Bryan Danielson's coming in, and Adam Cole's about to come in, and All Out 2021 was one of the biggest shows ever, and the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers are having a match, and there was just a lot going on in AEW at that time, and I think it was coming out of the pandemic, and whatever. We're getting way sidetracked.
There we are. This match ended with spit in the face, mist in the face, in Adam Copeland's face.
I hope that means that he's going to get infected and turn heel.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Garden Arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he's fully gone heel, what if him and Christian Cage have a tag team? I mean, it's possible. He could join the Patriarchy and they can be two dads together.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. They go for the tag titles when the Bucks lose them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Copeland has said he wants to have a feud with FTR at some point, so that would be a good choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match was fine, fun match. Again, I think this is
fine.
TV match. I think that's the word I'd use. It felt like a TV match.
This is a match that would be on the pre-show, but the reason it's not on the pre-show is because Adam Copeland's in it.
That's true.
You know for a fact that it would be on the pre-show.
Again, Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black would have been a better choice.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to save that for later, have Adam Copeland versus Eddie Kingston in a friendly, babyface match. And then the House of Black can come out at the end and beat them up. And then they can do this match on the next episode of Collision. See, I know how to book things.
Yeah.
I want to see...
I
want to see Adam Copeland and Malachi Black have a promo together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And not just have it be Doom Law, have an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Now, TBS Championship, the prediction, I was completely wrong. 100% I was wrong about the prediction on this. We had Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, we were both wrong on this one.
Yep. I think this is probably one of the matches on the card in ring that I remember the least. Because of the main...
Because it was 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was short. It was a good short match. I assume maybe Julia's not fully healed.
I think she's just injured, and this is like to getting the belt off her.
So Statlander obviously is part of the best friends, and she's doing the hug thing with Willow, and seemingly it's weird seeing Stokely Hathaway as a babyface. That is bizarre.
Yeah, it's really strange.
But the main reason why Willow won this is because she has history with Mercedes, and Mercedes is going to face her at Double or Nothing.
Right. Yeah. So again, it feels like when did she debut? It's like a month ago, right?
Mercedes?
Or was it longer? Yeah.
After Revolution, about a couple of weeks after Revolution.
She's like literally even before April.
Yep.
Yeah.
About 6 weeks.
So she's been here for like what, 6 weeks, and she's done nothing for 6 weeks.
She's cut a few promos. She's been on commentary. She
hasn't had a match yet, has she?
Nope, she hasn't had a match
so
yet.
So her first match is going to probably be Double or Nothing.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna assume the reason why it was that early is because they had to secure the Boston Garden, and that's why timeline-wise it was 6 weeks ago as opposed to, today.
Yeah.
But
feels like this whole run so far has been a bit of a flop.
Yeah, well, again, she just hasn't gotten in the ring yet. I think once she actually starts wrestling, that's when we're going to actually be able to properly get into it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Because, I mean, look, her history in the ring has a lot of positives. She's had some great matches over the years. Probably her most famous one being the main event of WrestleMania 37 Night 1 with Bianca. That's a very, very, very great match. But yeah, that's really what I'm looking forward to, is finally when Mercedes starts to wrestle. And that's when I think we're going to see what it's all about, see if the injury has harmed her or if she's had good time off to sharpen her tools. I mean, she certainly has presence, she has star power, she has charisma, but she just hasn't done anything storyline-wise of substance.
And the material, I think, so far has not been...
well, the segment on what was one of the most controversial Dynamites, the one with the CM Punk promo package on it with the footage, there was a segment where the lights turned off and she got beaten up, and then she was seen on the floor making sex noises, which was very funny.
I saw that all over Twitter.
And then I saw after Dynasty, someone posted that clip of her doing that, and they said, "This is Dave Meltzer watching Ospreay versus Danielson." Which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, this match was kind of like an advertisement for the next pay-per-view, which... Nah.
Pretty much, because literally, as soon as the match finished and Mercedes came out, they're like, by the way, guys, it's official, this match will happen. Okay.
Yeah, and I do feel a bit bad for Julia.
Was it established that she was going to get a match with the champion at Double or Nothing before today? Before that match?
Yeah, it was. It was established.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yep. And and like that was something that Tony Khan booked, and then part of the storyline has been, hey, she's not even on the rankings, she hasn't had a match yet, why is this happening?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, we had Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly, former members of Undisputed Era, for the International
also known as
Championship.
The Ring of Honor match.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I imagine this is what very classic Ring of Honor was like.
Yeah, a lot of backbreaking.
Strong loves his backbreakers.
Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly has a very different look now, doesn't he?
Really cool. Really cool to see Kyle back.
Yeah. I love Kyle O'Reilly. He has a unique martial arts style that is not utilized enough in wrestling. He uses a lot of his legs. That's the main thing I have, is the legs and the submission holds. There was a lot of chain wrestling on this, and there was also storytelling as well, like Strong being the coward and O'Reilly being the fierce fighter. This was very much an old school wrestling style match in the way it was booked.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice. It was refreshing. And I think this was a solid match. I think they will have rematches that will be better than this, though. That's my take on it. But I think if this is a feud, this is a really good start. That's what I'll say about it.
Yeah. I'm sort of glad that on Dynamite I saw that Kyle has shaved his head back down to a much shorter cut, which is cool. I prefer that look for him.
He was looking very shaggy for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of the same that I wish for Sami Zayn. I wish he'd shave his head because he looks awesome with a shaved head.
He does, yeah. I think Sami can probably get away.
Well.
I think he can get away with the long hair better than Kyle, though, by comparison.
I've grown used to it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there for that awkward phase when he was growing it out, where Vince was still
during the
him.
pandemic.
The Artist Collective, that was a weird time.
Yeah. The conspiracy theorists.
What was it?
Which, to be fair to him, he was doing really good stuff with that.
What was it about the pandemic and having, like, factions with the name Collective being not utilized well? Because in AEW, you had the Nightmare Collective, and that was fucking awful. Bloody Awesome Kong.
It was the time of the time, I guess.
Awesome Kong, Brandy Rhodes, Luther, and what was her name? Not Rosemary. What's the other one? I can't remember her name. She got released like very soon after. Anyway,
I don't know. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match quite a bit actually, and the finish was very interesting because Wardlow came out and seemingly fucked up a distraction for Kyle, but then Roderick got the job done anyway.
Yeah, they're basically doing what MJF and the Pinnacle did to Wardlow.
Does it not feel a little bit early? I think maybe that's more to do with the fact that Kingdom's not been booked well, so maybe it does feel a bit early.
Well, the problem with the Kingdom is some things feel early and some things feel like they're dragged on because both of the main characters in the story are injured. So it doesn't really, we don't really know.
Though you say that after this match, Adam Cole came out and can walk. It's a goddamn miracle.
Yep. I don't think he'll be cleared to wrestle anytime soon, but yes, he can walk.
No, but at least he can walk.
Yep. Do you think we're going to get... I've heard some people say this theory. Do you think at Wembley we're going to get MJF Cole again?
No, I don't think there's enough time for him to heal.
Okay.
And I don't know when. I generally don't know when Max is going to come back. It doesn't feel like it's going to go anytime soon. Anyway,
he got really fucked up in his title reign. Like he got so battered. That elbow drop he did to Jay White on the floor on the top rope at Full Gear was awful. And he came out with a fucking walking stick for the next month.
I remember he was crying like a little bitch.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, it's like that fucking sucked to take. And I don't think he's going to be back until after All In. I don't know that. I just have a feeling he's not going to be back for a long while. And that's a shame because he's honestly really missed. He really is.
Yeah. Hopefully Adam Cole can get back in the ring at some point. I would like if at Forbidden Door they actually do the match that they didn't do last year. What was it? Adam Cole versus is it Mike something? I can't remember his name. But they were going to do that match at Forbidden Door, and then Adam Cole got like the flu or something. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, I get the flu, and then not long after that, he busted his fucking ankle.
Yeah.
Real shame. Just that little jump off the ramp has fucked up so much.
Yep, that's their fault. That's Tony Khan's fault for being a WCW NWA fan.
You know what I just realized also in this match? I don't know if Carl's always done this, and I've just never noticed it. But Carl does the wacky line.
Yeah, he does. He has. Yeah, he has done that.
Don't know if I've.
Well,
I don't know why I've never noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a period of time in WWE where he may not have done it because Dean Ambrose was still
He
there.
probably wasn't. Yeah, he wouldn't have been allowed to do it.
But no, he's ever since AEW. Yeah, I mean, it's again, as I said, it's been a
I
couple
don't
of
know why I've
years.
never noticed it.
It's been a couple of
That is
years
very
since he
true.
was.
That's probably why.
Yeah, but he was doing it in that 2022 run he had.
Mm.
Oh, that was such a great time.
Yeah, his debut was awesome. So good.
Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin is like one of the most hidden gems AEW's ever done. That match was fucking awesome.
Mm.
That was on
Can't
their.
prove to why he was sorely missed.
The reason why that match doesn't get talked about is because it was on their longest pay-per-view, which was Double or Nothing 2022. It was like 4.5 hours. That was the show that had CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page, and it also had the first Anarchy in the Arena. And there was a lot of other stuff on that show that was just really high profile, and Darby versus Kyle was added very late, but it was one of the best matches on that show. That was also the show where Wardlow squashed MJF. And MJF nearly didn't turn up. And then on the very next Dynamite, he cut the big promo. You fucking Mark!
You fucking Mark.
Yep. Anyway,
But yeah,
after this, we got what is by far the worst thing on the show for me.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? This match wasn't even bad. It's just the whole thing around it.
It was a fun match, but the story was god awful. I hated the story.
Jericho is just in such a X-Pac go away heat phase. It's just
yeah. No, he's the most hateable big star in AEW for me.
Easily, yeah. And it feels like the whole guys, he's playing up as a babyface knowing he's being booed, and it's just like
I jokingly said on the predictions Jericho is FTW champion and laughed, and then they actually did it.
I feel like when I started watching this match, it was like they're actually going to put the fucking belt on him, aren't they?
And he's calling himself the Learning Tree now.
It feels so, and he's given himself a Death Rebel theme.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, to be fair, it's a Death Rebel opening and then a Fozzy song is what it is.
Yeah, I am the Learning Tree. Like, Jesus Christ.
For me, Chris Jericho is not a learning tree; he's a parasite. That's what I think.
You Jericho in 2024, that is, yeah. Long are the days of the list, Le Champion, suit, bad guy Jericho.
Even Ring of Honor World Champion Jericho was really good.
Ring at the Ocho, yeah.
Yep.
He's just been on a bad run.
Early Jericho Appreciation Society, that was good shit.
I am so good as well.
I am a sports entertainer.
Year
one of my best friends in the world, Danny Garcia, is a sports entertainer. That was so fucking good. And they had the Anarchy in the Arena match, which was awesome, and then they had the Blood and Guts match, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. That was like peak AEW back then. Oh, that was hot stuff. And he had Eddie Kingston saying, like, calling him on the phone saying, I'm going to put a hit on you, bitch, and put you on the ground. So again, Jericho and Hook in ring. It was a fun match. Like, when you forget the actual implications and you only focus on the wrestling, they actually had a good match. They did. But crowning Jericho with this belt is just... And he's supposed to be a babyface as well, I guess. It's ludicrous. And now he's got a thing with Big Bill, it seems.
Seemingly.
Yeah. So, yeah, the parasite lives on. It seems like usually when he brings out Lionheart Chris Jericho is when he's at his most cringe.
Yep, every time. Or Painmaker.
Oh god, the Painmaker. Ugh.
Shite.
And it's annoying because sometimes Jericho can be great. You remember his feud with Will Ospreay for All In? I actually thought that promo
That
he did
one
before
promo they
All
had
In,
together was like really good.
it was like the old Jericho that I loved. The one, the Jericho that I put on my 25 favorite wrestlers. It was that Chris Jericho came back for
it was
1 week.
yeah, the match was really good as well.
Yeah, that I'll never forget. That Hurricane Rana he did was like something a 20-year-old would do. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand A, what Jericho thinks he's doing, and B, what Tony Khan thinks he's doing with Jericho. At this point in his career, I understand he wants to be one of the boys. He wants to do the grind. He wants to promote the company. He wants the company to have ratings. He wants to use his power to draw. And he wants his career to have a lot of longevity and work with all the guys he likes. But at this point, he would be so much better served as a part-time wrestler. I'm telling you, he would.
Yeah.
The fact that we've had like fucking so many Chris Jericho matches in the last year, but the fact that we've had like one Malachi Black singles match and hardly any Keith Lee singles matches is really sad. Because I would love to see Malachi Black and Keith Lee featured the way Jericho is.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Because, Jericho's had his run. He's had his career. He doesn't need to do anything else.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
But guys like Malachi Black and Keith Lee still have time to actually, level up their career, do something new with it. And it's very frustrating. Also, let's talk about Hook. Now that he's lost the FTW title, what do you do with Hook?
There's all been talk about his contract coming to an end very soon, like in a couple of months.
People think
he's in the year.
People think he'd be a good fit for NXT. I mean, I guess it just depends on how much tolerance they have for Hook's kind of... I don't think Hook fits PG wrestling. That's the issue I have with it. Is I feel like in WWE...
but have you seen them recently though? They're bleeding all over the place.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Blood is back, baby.
I just have this and obviously the booking's it's better than it was, but
I don't know.
Shawn Michaels NXT
I guess you would have
to
like see it, but yeah.
Shawn Michaels NXT reminds me a lot of New Gen era Raw. It's a very clean product. It has some teenage elements to it, but it doesn't really have what I think Hook would suit. And then on the main roster, I think Hook would just be lost. Like he would just be in this puddle of nothing. I think AEW's product is actually really good for Hook, but I just don't think the booking allows him to grow and develop that much. I think as a talent, he's great, but I think in terms of storylines, he doesn't really do much. He just sort of exists and does the same thing a lot of the time. And I don't really know. Because I think a lot of Hook's aura just isn't there anymore. I mean, when he comes out now, like, Giovanni does the whole thing of, oh, it's Batman. Because he has the spotlight. And that genuinely cool side of him that was there when he debuted just doesn't really exist anymore.
No, unfortunately.
And again, I think the guy himself is cool, but the Hook character, that's what we're talking about here. And putting him in a feud with Chris Jericho certainly is not helping.
In 2024,
he's stuck in the vortex.
The Jericho mid-card vortex.
That's correct.
Some fun spots here and there, but yeah, other than that, it's a Jericho match in 2024.
Yeah, what does Chris Jericho having the FTW title do for anything?
Oh, well, he's going to rename it and change it and make it into a new belt.
Yeah. Well, he said it's called For the World, no, not Fuck the World.
Uh,
He's being very
well, great.
saccharine. I will say
10 years ago, that might have been alright.
the one thing I will say about this feud that has been really good is I think Taz has been great. His involvement in the
Taz,
feud.
as always, whenever he does get involved in feuds, he's always great.
Yeah. Him on commentary being very like, I have to stay professional, this is not my business, but also wanting to get involved.
Yeah, he always puts over Hook. It's like he's a grown ass man. He can deal with his own problems, you know.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's not him helicoptering his son. It's him saying, "My son's a man. He doesn't need me." Also, I love the detail of shit gets serious with Taz when he takes his sunglasses off.
Oh yes.
But yeah, Taz is great.
Definitely.
But yeah, this for me was, I think, story-wise, this was the worst match on the card. Not in ring, because in ring was actually good, but narratively, I think this was redundant.
Oh boy, yeah, did I not care.
But thankfully, after this match, we got something I actually really enjoyed, and that was
We got the go.
Timeless Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa. This, to me, is a marriage of two things I love. You have a great character. Timeless Tony Storm has been one of the best characters in wrestling in the last year. And you have an exceptional wrestler in Thunder Rosa who has a history with her because Thunder Rosa lost the title without, she had to vacate the title without losing it. And Tony Storm replaced her. This was back when Storm was a babyface. Things have changed since. 2 years have passed, almost. And Thunder Rosa now has a reason to chase the belt again. And I had a few reservations about her coming back because, like, she just doesn't have the same level of star power she had when she was in the Britt Baker feud.
No.
But with that said, she delivered in ring. I can say that for a fact, that in ring she has come back to her peak as an athlete and as a performer. Combine that with the fact that Timeless Tony Storm has been cutting great promos and doing great character work. That one she did before the pay-per-view of, what was it? I can't remember the line, but the one where she has makeup all over her face was awesome. Yeah, I thought this match ruled. I really liked it a lot, actually. I think it over-delivered even. I actually think it was better than I expected. I think maybe because Thunder Rosa's been gone for so long that I forgot how good she is in the ring. Like, she's actually one of the best in-ring athlete competitors that wrestling has in the female division.
Yeah, they did a really good job with this match. It feels like this is the first sort of Tony Storm match where the gimmick and the actual quality of the match are, like, working together.
Yeah, I mean, the other matches she's had before were entertaining, but they were more so just fun for the characters as opposed to the wrestling.
Yeah, it was more on the side of the gimmick rather than the quality of the match.
Yeah. Whereas this one was great gimmick and match.
I feel like they've cracked the formula, thankfully, and hopefully that will continue.
And I think the reason why is because Thunder Rosa is such an intense wrestler that it forces Tony Storm to match her. Not to say that her other pay-per-view matches were soft per se, but I think Thunder Rosa adds a level of legitimacy to it because she's very stiff. But not only is it a striking game, but it's also the fact that she has so much good ring awareness. Her technique is really spot on. Everything she does looks like it hurts. And she's great with submission game. She's a great seller. Yeah, she's just a great wrestler all round. And then Tony Storm is a great performer on top of that. And yeah, I just thought this was great stuff.
Mm-hmm. As always, Nigel McGuinness is excellent on commentary during Tony Storm matches.
Nigel McGuinness is great no matter what. He's my favorite commentator in wrestling. I know he's color and he's not play-by-play, so it's a different job, but he is my favorite commentator in wrestling. He is the best.
I'm glad that they allow him to actually be like extremely entertaining as a heel.
Also, As always, Mariah May and Luther at ringside, their reactions are always priceless. Great, just facial acting from both of them.
Yeah.
Super
good stuff from everyone
they
involved.
They are an act where I can watch like I don't watch a lot of AEW TV these days. I just spend my time doing other things. But when they post clips on social media of the shows, I always check out Tony, Mariah, and Luther segments, always, because I know they're going to do something that I haven't seen before that's interesting and fun.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. Come here, my sweet child. Bosom. I just think it's hysterical just how perverted this character is as well.
Yeah. Because it's so like of that time amped up to 11.
Yeah, show business of that time, like the toxic side of show business where they all just touch each other without consent. And they're like, oh yes, you'll make a nice actress. Get those bosoms up, darling. Like it's it's gross, but it's hilarious.
That's why I really like the sort of catchphrase she has. It's like chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Yes. Also,
you're wonderful, darling.
Also, I was editing EWAB 2 today, and you made a comment about Miss Elizabeth in the NWO shirt. So I'm just going to say I thought Mariah May looked lovely in that dress on the show.
Oh, she's like insanely gorgeous.
Yep.
Everyone in this match is, including Beth.
and she's from North London.
She's from up north.
Yeah. Oh, one of the moments of this match that made me absolutely laugh out loud is Deonna Purrazzo threw Mariah into the steps. She rolled out the way. Luther, I assume, went to tackle Deonna. Deonna gapped it out the way, and Luther crashed into the steps. It was fucking hilarious. Luther's so good. Just so funny.
She was born in London, though, Mariah May.
Yeah, but she's brought up in North London where they do all the stabbings.
There is a lot of stabbings in London, trust me.
her interview with RJ City on YouTube is crack up. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, she always baits him with the whole like, "Oh yes, daddy," and then he gets very awkward. I think RJ City is LGBT. I'm not sure if he's bi or pan or gay or something.
I know.
But I know that I like that he plays.
They're very funny.
I like that he plays along with it in the sense of like he doesn't appreciate the compliments. He gets intimidated by them, and it's hilarious. Because most other guys would fold if Mariah May was flirting with them, but because RJ City is like really like scared of her, it's fucking hilarious.
It's crazy to think that people like Mariah May are only like a couple months older than me. That's crazy to think about.
Mariah May is younger than me. She's younger than me. Yeah. Jesus.
Because now we're getting to the point of like wrestlers are now going to be like younger than us.
I am the age that I am older than what Brock Lesnar was when he first won the title. Like that's fucked up.
God, we're fucking old.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Dear oh dear.
I'm pretty sure. What age was Paige when she had to retire from the back injury? What year was that? 20.
Like, what 20?
I want to say she was
2018, wasn't it?
2018, so she would have been 25.
Jesus.
Now she's what, 31? Something like that.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a shame that.
Anyway, Toni Storm won with shenanigans, and yeah, it was good fun. I really liked this match. I had so much fun with it. Always enjoy Toni Storm. She is a diamond of the wrestling business. And I think when this timeless run is over, I think we're going to miss it. and we're going to look back on it with nostalgia, because it's genuinely one of my favorite like wrestling characters I've seen in women's wrestling like ever. It's amazing what she's done. She is a natural.
Absolutely.
Probably helps that her parents are both British and they were stage actors. That's probably where she gets it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always love it how like as I said the word perverted I said before, but there's a promo like when she cuts promos on other women's wrestlers and she makes comments about their body. Like she's like, "Oh, that girl Anna Jay with the rather large bottom touching my child."
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, we got one of my like the greatest fucking matches I've ever seen in my life. We got Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. This was perfect.
This delivered and some.
This was half an hour and then some of nothing but greatness. I loved every second of this match. The crowd was white hot. The athleticism was off the charts. The selling was great. The storytelling was awesome. Will Ospreay is a stud. Bryan Danielson is a legend. Fucking Jesus Christ. Tiger
They were actually
suplex.
even before the bell was insane.
Yep, chanting holy shit when it started. Tiger suplex off the top rope. Jesus Christ. This was... Everything about this match was awesome.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, like... I think Meltzer gets very excited with his match ratings. But this is a 5-star match. On my scale, this is a 5-star.
This is gonna be like 8 stars.
Well, he said it's the greatest match he's seen in the US, which would make it at least 6 stars.
It's probably gonna be 7 stars, isn't it?
Well, 7 stars was Okada Omega 2018. He said that match is better because it had more story and it was the 4th match in a series. That's the only thing that this match doesn't have. The only thing that this match doesn't have is a long feud behind it. It was an exhibition match. But it is one of the greatest exhibition matches I think I've ever seen. This was incredible.
Yeah, super good.
Bryan
really,
Danielson is just the perfect wrestler. In ring.
What I liked about very early on is Danielson with like the whole story of like you need to prove you are the best, and by the time like but a couple minutes in, the look on his face very much suggests like, okay, all right, you actually are as good as they say. All right, I'm in for a work.
Yep. The way that they tied the athletic chain grappling, both with reacting to each other's facials, proving proving to Bryan that he can hang, doing the little gestures, the mannerisms, the facial expressions, and also having pauses between the chain grappling to allow the crowd to react to them. It's storytelling 101. Both of these guys with their facial acting was top notch in this match. They were and the camera work to capture them enhanced every bit of the story. The strikes hit hard. The moves were crisp. The facials were great to tell the story. The insane Japanese stunts, I would call them, were off the chain.
Dude, the fucking Ospreay cutter into the Masako knees was fucking insane.
Oh, I screamed. I screamed when that happened. I was like, I've never seen anything like that. And the precision as well. Like the absolute precision to hit a moving target in midair with knee to the head. Like it was a bullseye from Danielson. He's 42 years old. How's he do this? He's so athletic. He doesn't even have the right build for a main event wrestler, and he can do anything. He can do anything. It's insane.
Crazy.
Commentary was awesome. Nigel, as I said, he's the best.
Don
Deep
Callis was awesome as
Don
always. I really
Callis.
like what he did
Don
with this match.
Callis. Holy shit. The way he hyped both these guys up and put them over despite being a heel.
And what he did a lot was because Ospreay is very much playing face now. He's very much the biggest babyface in the company. I would honestly say Don does such a great job in like putting doubts in us, like in terms of like Ospreay's not taking this seriously. He's playing to the crowd too much. He's not finishing. He doesn't have that killer instinct in the moment like he used to do.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Also,
really enjoyed all the stuff that Cal's did.
To complement the sports-paced style, all the strikes look like they hurt, all the grappling looked like it had impact, and all the submissions look painful.
Mm-hmm.
There was one point, I mean, it wasn't quite as grapeviney as the Zack Sabre match, but there was one of those submission chain moments where I think Bryan got Ospreay in like a really complicated submission hold, and then Ospreay, he kind of did what Brock did to AJ in their match many years ago, where he managed to roll his way out of it.
His head.
Yeah. Use slamming to get him out of it. Some of the counters as well were very creative, and you can tell they put a lot of thought into that.
Oh boy, did they.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ospreay, like, I think it's safe to say Ospreay is absolutely the best wrestler in the world right now.
In ring, 100%. And he can get himself over on the mic as well.
Yep. Just a little bit less of the cringy boss's daughter lines, and then you're good to go.
yeah. He said he wants to move on from that. He said, like, where he comes from, he's from Essex. Yeah. You know, someone shit talks you, you talk shit back. It's just like, it's like giving them a receipt. But I just think it didn't come off the right way, and the timing couldn't have been worse because it came on the same show as the Punk thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And I don't blame Will for it. I think it was a Tony Khan thing to just veto. He should have just said, no, don't do it. But you just know that Tony Khan can't help himself. He just feels like he has to take shots whenever he can.
Yeah. But I will say the finish of this match was insanely good narratively.
Also, I just want to say Ospreay is one of my favorite sellers. The way he uses like the referee and points at body parts.
Oh no, but he doesn't sell. We know sells all the time, Connor. What are you talking about?
Okay, let me. I'm going to break this down for anyone who still has this take. So, back in I think it was 2016, there was the Best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan, and Ricochet and Will Ospreay had a match which had a lot of high impact moves in it. And it was, you know, was talked about a lot at the time, and it was discussed as to whether this is great or not. What people don't understand is that the Best of the Super Juniors is supposed to be matches that are like that. It is a tournament that exists in a vacuum within itself, and it's once a year, and it is all based on... It is kind of like the equivalent in music of guitar shredding. It's not about the story or the emotion necessarily. It's more about the combat itself. It's watching a fight happen for fight's sake. It's about technique. It's about athleticism. And it's very much a sports match. That is what that was. What Will Ospreay is now and what he is outside of that tournament is an entirely different wrestler. This is not Will Ospreay doing an athletic contest. This is Will Ospreay, the storyteller, who is also still a great athlete. And I think Ricochet and Will Ospreay was a great exhibition, and it got both of them really over. And it is great in what it is trying to do. But to say that either of those guys are limited to just being spot fest wrestlers is insanely wrong. Because Ricochet is a great storyteller and a great athlete. And Will Ospreay is the top guy in the world in ring. So anyone with that take can shove it up their ass. Now, I knew that, like any great AEW match, they were going to go to the apron at some point. Ospreay did an ass cutter onto the apron, which was great. Then, moving on, I mean, this was a long match with a lot happening. Submission transitions are great. And as you said, the finish to the match was very creative. The way that the impact at which he hit the hidden blade both times was awesome. He's able to make that move look great. The way that they were both flying in midair when it happened, and also not to forget right before
the final like strike of them just Danielson is like doing the yes after he like gets the upper hand, but Ospreay recovers, and then they're just staring at each other, and then it's just like a visual communication of like we're just gonna fucking run at each other, and whoever fucking hits first wins, mate.
It's kind of like the iconic, probably the most iconic version of that is the 2001 Royal Rumble, when you've got The Rock on one corner and a bleeding Steve Austin on the other one.
Yeah. And then once Ospreay hits him and Danielson lands on his neck, he acts as if he's spazzing out because of his neck.
So they told a great sort of
no hesitation. Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah, so they told a great sort of extracurricular story with this, in the sense that he hit the Tiger Driver 91. Danielson lands on his spine, does a seizure cell, and then he is with Danielson with the trainers, because obviously Ospreay's babyface, so he has empathy. When Danielson is getting, looked at by the doctors, and then on the press scrum, Ospreay says, "I'm going to retire that move because it's too dangerous."
Yeah.
I assume at some point in the future, when he's in a desperate scenario where he has to win, he'll probably bring it back.
All in. Yeah, they're all in to win the belt.
I like what they're doing as well. He's going to have a match with Kyle Fletcher again at some point, I think is what I heard, because they're going to have a rematch. And Fletcher said, "Hey, so, no Tiger Driver, right? You're not going to hurt me like that," which is an interesting thing between friends to have. Regardless, that happened, and then Ospreay took the elbow pad off and did the hidden blade without it, and whacked Danielson in the head and got the pin and the win. Yeah, this is probably my match of the year so far.
Definitely.
Yeah. I know some people would say that Roman versus Cody has a bigger story, and it does. It does have a bigger story.
Not close. It does have a great story, but the match quality itself is not on the same level.
Roman versus Cody is great fun, but
their match was good. Their match was really good. It's not on this level.
But this is this is a different kind of great match. This is a great wrestling match.
Athleticism on display in this match was like legitimately godly.
Yeah, like the reason why Roman versus Cody is great is because it's a great finale to a story. It's a great closing chapter, and it's an epic climax. That's what makes it so well regarded. And it's got all the big returns, and the in-ring chemistry is great, and the big moment of Cody finishing the story is awesome. But Danielson versus Ospreay is great in the way that a great sports match is great. It's got great action and story. And it's an exhibition of in-ring talent. Not to say that Cody and Roman didn't have an exhibition of in-ring talent, because they did, but it's a different style. It's a different version of great in-ring talent. It's hard to discern, but I guess what I would, if I would use old terms, despite the fact that Michael Cole said I love professional wrestling, and it is, Roman versus Cody is great in all the ways that sports entertainment is great. But I think Ospreay versus Danielson represents something very different to that. And yeah, neither is right or wrong. They both exist within this sphere. But for what I think makes great wrestling matches, I think overall, despite the fact that it's an exhibition without a long story, I think Ospreay versus Danielson is the better match.
Yeah. Well, great match.
Yep. Now, the next match, obviously the controversial shit in the build-up with the CM Punk video aside, that is unfortunate. An unfortunate blemish on this feud. FTR versus Bucks is a long-running feud, and it's a great one. And after having the Masterclass match, they gave us basically exactly what we needed, which was a fun ladder match. This was more of like a very different kind of fun match to what we got in the one before it. I really enjoyed this, and as I predicted, the Bucks won because they have the more like the higher momentum with their characters, as opposed to All In when it was the other way around, when FTR was the more higher momentum characters. Yeah, I really enjoyed this ladder match. I thought it was great fun. There were a lot of great spots. There were some real nasty moments too. Some real big nasty moments. Pile driver on ladder that falls down comes to mind. And yeah, there were some table moments as well. Yeah, you give your thoughts on FTR versus the Bucks ladder match.
Very fun ladder match. I think Dax very early on busting himself open hard way. He's got such a wrinkly head. It's like when you really notice
he's such a dad.
Blood. Yeah. There was a lot of really good innovative like spots in this with like ladders, which I really enjoyed. Fucking Cash Wheeler was he wrestled as if his actual life depended on it. With the amount of fucking dives, moonsaults he did into tables was actually insane.
Yeah, he did a I think he did a springboard moonsault at one point.
He did, yeah, off the ladder, yeah.
But what the reason why these, and we've, everyone has said it before, the reason why these two are such a great combination is because the Young Bucks are two of the most creative, sort of brainstormy wrestlers out there. I mean, Kenny's like this too, to a different extent, more of a main event style. But the Young Bucks are very creative, and they think of a lot of ideas, and they're very good at coming up with fun things to do in a match, as well as character story as well, especially whenever the Hangman's involved. And FTR have great in-ring psychology, regardless of the stipulation, whether it's a traditional match or it's a non-traditional match. FTR, they give it that kind of grit and sensibility that grounds it. So it is a combination of flamboyance and groundedness, and when you meet the two together, that's why they're such a perfect marriage. And even within the confines of a ladder match, which is not traditional, they still have that in them. The Bucks have a lot of these toys to play with, and FTR, with their contributions, they make it a really coherent story. And that's why I think this succeeded, because both these teams offer something that the other team complements with, I guess you could say. It's a bit like, and I've said this a bit before, and I'll probably say it much more again in the future when we do more Pink Floyd, but it's a bit like how Roger Waters is the ultimate songwriter and David Gilmour's the ultimate musician, and when you combine the two together, it creates magic. And it's a bit like that with these two teams, I feel.
Yeah.
And also, as always with AEW Extreme stipulation matches, they go a lot further, which is nice. It makes it grittier, and it's one of the things that makes them a good alternative to the Fed, because they don't have those PG guidelines. Although the WWE recently has pushed the boundaries a bit, but it's still not on this level. This is very much like big boys stipulation, pool of blood, Southern style. In a sense, this was more of a TLC match, to be honest, because it had tables, ladders, and chairs. They just can't call it that because of copyright. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I'm interested to see what the Bucks do with the titles now.
Yeah. Because, well, I don't know if they will actually have another match with FTR.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm curious what obviously they're going to a feud with Tony Khan, so probably.
Well, apparently,
Khan family versus Bucks match.
apparently next week on Dynamite, Kenny Omega is coming back, which is
Yeah, I
great
saw
news.
that, so maybe
Having Kenny Omega comment on the fact that his 3 friends from the Elite have all turned heel.
and all have turned into bastards.
Yeah, so either he's going to have a problem with it, he's going to be like, what the hell's going on, or he's going to join
He
him.
comes out, he comes out and Dynamite, and he's like, you know what? CM Punk was right.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Oh, that would be funny, but then
I think they shouldn't do that. But if someone can make it work, it would be Kenny, because he has that kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe Punk was right, guys.
Kenny is one of the funniest. He's one of the funniest wrestlers.
In kayfabe, of course, but yeah,
yeah, he's hilarious.
He is. It'd be good to see him back.
Either having him feud with the Elite and being like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Or if we get 2021 Hollywood Hogan Kenny Omega back, that would be pretty interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. But I think the crucial part is the fact that Okada and Jack Perry have joined the Elite is a fascinating detail.
Yeah, very fascinating.
What is Kenny going to think of this? And interestingly, if Hangman in the future gets involved again, what's he going to think of this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but this match was very fun, very cool spots, but I think it's all about the finish really and what happened.
Jack Perry came back,
so in a Sting mask.
And you know what? You know what I have to say?
I joke when I saw this. I knew it was Jack Perry, but I jokingly said to myself, "Oh my god, Darby Allin's back!" In the Sting mask.
His disguise worked really well. He just walked in very casually into the arena. He looked like a normal fan.
You could see him before he comes in. You can see him. There's also fan footage as well.
Yeah.
But in the actual feed, you can see in the hard cam shot, you can see just a guy in a mask just walking behind, and everyone in the crowd is looking at that person as well. Like they caught onto him. And then you see him throw his popcorn bucket, and then run into the ring, push the ladder over. The guards take him to the corner, very expertly so, for the big reveal. Which, with the biggest shit-eating grin I've ever seen, Jack Perry.
Yes. Now, I've got something to say. So I think it's not a hot take to say that his first few months as a heel were a bit shaky, especially the Crimea River match. He's had a few weird moments, especially the feud with Hook. Like, something wasn't clicking right. I think this New Japan excursion's done a whole lot of good, because ever since he's come back, this moment, and then also on Dynamite, I feel like he has a lot more confidence than he had before. And I see good signs from him, and I feel like
Maybe that's what Punk was trying to do all along, trying to light a fire under his ass.
Well, it's worked. But you can tell he's found his footing as a heel now, and it's good to see. Because there was something not right. There was just off about him before, but now he feels like he's getting really in his zone with it, especially now that he's aligned with much more experienced guys around him. It's going to really help him flourish. So I'm glad. I've never wanted, like, whenever I've complained about Jack Perry in the past, I've never wanted him to be bad. I just think that there were issues, and I'm glad that he is improving. Now they just need to do this with Sammy Guevara, because what the fuck do you do with that guy?
I don't know. Get someone to have a fight with him. Oh, but they've done that many times.
Also, another thing I wanted to mention about this ladder match, there was a really scary moment when Matt Jackson got pushed off the apron and he whacked his head on the side when he went through the table. That I was concerned about that. I also want to mention, I think I may have said this before, Dax Harwood is one of my favorite wrestlers, genuinely. He is so entertaining. He's
very good.
He just has this natural energy. He's just this dad who gets in the ring and he's going to beat you up. And he's so easy to like. And then Cash Wheeler is just the most rabid dog of a wrestler. Like he just goes so hard. And he is as an athlete, he's really underrated. He's actually really, really athletic, and he just doesn't use it as much because of the gimmick. But that man can run fast, and he can flip. And
oh boy, can
yeah. So yeah. I think everyone knew that FTR Bucks was going to deliver in ring. I just think it's just a shame that it's been blemished by the all-in stuff. But I guess, in Tony Khan's words, by showing that footage, it's explain why Jack Perry's been off screen so that when he returns, people will get it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Honestly, I know they did it for ratings, but they should have just shot a kayfabe angle and just said that was the reason why he was off screen. No one would have believed it.
That's what they.
But for the people who don't like look up the dirt sheets and they just watch the show, I think that would have been healthier than showing.
There's no reason why they couldn't have done a kayfabe version of it.
Or just not even show the footage. Just say, like, you don't even have to show CM Punk. Just say Jack Perry got in a fight and that's why we were distracted. You don't have to show the footage.
Yeah.
But yeah. The Elite is actually like they have once again, after quite a while, they've become one of the most entertaining things on AEW again since Okada and Jack Perry and like the Bucks turn heel and everything. This has been like a resurgence for them as a group, and I'm very happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as I said, once Kenny comes back and possibly Hangman, this could be taken to another level. I assume the Elite is going to be involved in Blood and Guts later, after Double or Nothing. We may even see like an Elite Civil War, depending on how long people are injured for, because Omega had diverticulitis, Hangman is injured, and Kota Ibushi is also injured. So we got a few issues with that, but I guess we'll have to see what they do in that regard. But I assume that'll be part of it. Then, last but not least, the main event of the show. We have, for the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland, the challenger against the champion Samoa Joe. Swerve came out in Killmonger's outfit, which was awesome. So, Prince Nana came out as he came out with the big jacket and everything. Love their dynamic. Joe, as always, great, big beast. Obviously, this was not match of the night. It didn't have the in-ring, exceptional prowess of Okada versus Pac or Ospreay versus Danielson, or it wasn't to that level. But this did deliver. I think it was in-ring very good, and as a story, what needed to happen. Yeah, this definitely needed to be the moment.
Right choice, right decision. Yeah. Really good main event.
The thing to talk about here is Swerve Strickland being crowned champion, because that is the big takeaway from this, and it was the right choice.
Yeah.
It was the right time to strike while the iron's hot and put him as the top guy in AEW. Because he fucking deserves it after the last 2 years of hard work.
He's been on such a good run these last 8 months.
Yeah.
Since All In, that obviously that tag match where you can in one way you can see that as he's always going to be around that spot, maybe. But ever since the Hangman feud, it's been such a good run.
The Hangman feud was awesome. I think evidently now more than ever we can see the reason why Hit Row was over is because Swerve was in it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he left Hit Row, they became shit, and Swerve became even better.
Yeah, Swerve just.
But currently, if someone was to ask me who's your top 5 favorite wrestlers that are current, not all time, but just currently active, I think Swerve is actually in there. I think he's in my top 5 right now. He's genuinely.
He's doing some amazing stuff.
He is an all-rounder. He is great at everything.
His death match with Hangman did so much for him.
Yeah. But
that was truly the match that made people think this guy could legit be a main eventer.
He is genuinely an all-rounder because he's a great wrestler. He's a great promo. His presentation is impeccable. His entrance is one of the best. His theme music is awesome. His attention to detail is awesome. His acting ability is insane. His athleticism, his storytelling, his ability to get over, his charisma, his aura, everything, even his package with like Prince Nana and the Mogul Embassy, it's all there. And he's the right guy at the right time, at the right age, with the right attitude. He's a genuinely great human being. He has everything right. He's everything right about him. And I am so happy that they made him the world champion, because fucking hell, he is the guy. And I think we should see Swerve versus Will Ospreay in the main event of All In. That's my choice.
I feel like that's the match. That's the match to do.
Because not only are they the two like top guys, I think, especially in terms of guys that are like relatively fresh in AEW, like they are current stars, they're not legacy stars. But also, I think the match would be insane.
It would really go.
I think a match between Will Ospreay and Swerve could be a banger. Yeah. I also want to credit Samoa Joe for filling the shoes that CM Punk left behind. For at 45 years old, giving us an awesome world title reign to carry the company over a very tumultuous period where they've gone through some very tricky business, especially with how hot the WWE's been in the road to WrestleMania. Joe has had to really carry it on his back, and he has done an exceptional job. Which is why Joe is in my top 25. He is one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Mm. And this has been really a feather in his cap for his career, I think. Like, for him to have like this one last run as a world champion, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And as
amazing stuff for these last 4 months. Yeah.
And as always with Samoa Joe, attitude, character, acting, presentation, everything was top tier. He has some of my favorite, in terms of wrestling, in anyone in wrestling, some of my favorite facial acting, some of my favorite mannerisms, body language, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he looks at you. Everything about him is so believable. Yeah, I'm basically just giving these two guys a big tongue bath. But yeah, to this being the main event made sense. You have two of the most charismatic stars in AEW in the main event in the world title match, and yeah, it was awesome. You give your thoughts.
Yeah, this match, it just did everything it needed to be. It's a match that, compared to a lot of other matches on the card, is not as good. But what it needed to do, I think it did very well.
Also, before you say anything else, I want to say something before I forget. Samoa Joe power slammed Swerve onto the concrete and then laughed at him.
That was fucking rough. Jesus.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Insane thing to do. Yeah. It was absolutely the right time to put the belt on Swerve. 100%. Yeah, they could have done it in the triple threat, but I think that did enough for like that little bit of great character work from Hangman.
And it was worth it just to see Swerve, that visual of Swerve's heartbreak at the end of Revolution.
Exactly. Yeah,
tears in his eyes.
And just also one extremely great spot that they're doing kind of lately is people are finally noticing the Joe walk away spot and are actually catching him off guard, which is very cool.
Yeah, when it's random, like enhancement talent, it's hilarious. But when you've got your main event star, you want them to be like, right, I've studied this guy's tape. I know what he's about to do.
I know what to do. I know all your moves.
Like, I know the little details and little subtle nuances he does right before he moves out the way, and I know when he's about to do it. That's something a main event talent would do, and I love that Swerve gets to have that privilege of, I figured you out, and that's why I can beat you. And that, again, that whole part of the story, that the reason why Swerve is able to beat Joe is because Joe, at this point in his career, is a bag of old tricks, and he has nothing new up his sleeve because he's been doing this for so long. He's been wrestling for like 25 years, and all of it's on tape. And as monstrous and as powerful as Joe is, the story they told is that Swerve knows all of Joe's tricks, and that's how he's able to outplay him and overcome that size difference. It's old school psychology 101. And they really made you believe and actually feel like, yes, it's convincing that Swerve was able to beat Joe here. Also, Prince Nana was great, as always.
As always, yeah.
Yep. It's amazing how Swerve got buried in a coffin by Sting at Wembley. And ever since then, ever since he came back from the dead, he's had the run of his life.
That's what I mean. That's why I brought it up, because being there live, like, Swerve was over, but I didn't think in like 8 months' time after that he'd be world champion.
Also, another thing I want to say about Swerve Strickland, when you look at him, he looks like a celebrity.
Yeah, he does.
Like when the first time I ever saw him, I said that guy looks like a famous person that I don't know. I don't know him right now, but he looks like a famous person. And back then he was a lot thinner when he was in NXT, and now he's jacked. He's in great shape.
Yeah.
But like you said, those Hangman Adam Page matches really elevated him. And
absolutely.
I am curious to see if Hangman comes back and they have a last hurrah match. Because
yes, please.
Another match with them, like with another stipulation, maybe like a steel cage match, or like something just like to end a lights out match, like something to really end it all. Something truly final, like something really final.
Mm-hmm.
And have the stipulation be like, you know, whoever wins this match, the other person can't challenge for the title while I'm champion. Like something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, really great decision, great choice. Hopefully he has a very good reign.
Yep. Yeah. I love him. And also, I want to say, his appearance in the press conference after the show was bold. It was confident. It did not hold back. He was very, very direct about his beliefs. But I think that's something that you need in a champion. He was not feckless. He was not careful.
We know the figurehead of the company.
Yeah, he stands up for what he believes in. He has very strong views, but that is something that I respect.
Mm-hmm.
Agree or disagree, it's something I respect. I say the same thing about CM Punk all the time. I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect the fact that he stands up for what he believes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and after the match, you can see how much it bloody means to him. Took like 4 minutes just trying to soak all in.
Oh yeah, and yeah, he and just the celebration. I like that whole. You could tell the crowd was just so genuinely happy to see Swerve win. Like
absolutely, yeah.
He is so fucking over.
Great way to end the show.
Now, it's not my I'm not the best person to be talking about this, but I think it's in really good taste. I think the level of top tier talent within black wrestlers at the moment in WWE and AEW is great to see. There's some fantastic talent. I mean, Trick Williams is NXT champion now too. He's awesome. Carmelo Hayes is awesome.
Yeah, those two, like Strick, Carmelo, and Trick have like all had insane rises in these last couple of years,
and they are going to be top tier guys for the next 10 years of wrestling. They are going to genuinely be legendary.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think this, and also that's just the male side, not to forget the female side. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi,
Sasha.
Yep, Sasha Banks. There's so much talent there, and I'm
absolutely
I'm glad that the conversation about black representation doesn't have to come down to pick anyone. There are so many amazing black wrestlers that we don't have to even think about it. It just makes sense to have them in main events because they are the best at what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome to see. It's just awesome to see.
Yep. And yeah, coming we're 5 years removed from Kofi Mania, and I think it's just great to see that the business feels like it doesn't need to even try anymore. It just produces amazing talent. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I thought Dynasty was a great show with a few blemishes, mainly Jericho. But
yeah, agreed.
But as I said, as much as, and I will admit, Dynamite this week had a fucking hot angle on it with Tony Khan. And obviously everything with Tony Storm and Ryan May is great. And there's a few other things on the show that I really like. The weekly TV is struggling to draw. I think it is really struggling to... It's doing better than it was a few months ago, but it is struggling to really pull attention. But the pay-per-views are always must-watch, and I will give that to AEW. They do always hit a home run with those pay-per-views they do. So hats off to them for that.
Absolutely. Hats off to them. Done some amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so final thoughts on Dynasty.
Really good show. I'm happy with a lot of the winners other than Jericho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to
the three things, the three people on the roster. Well, actually, there's a few people that aren't on the show, like Ricky Starks, that I want to see more done with. But the three people, actually four, I'll say four. The four people that they need to do something with, better with, I should say. Malachi Black, Jay White, Mercedes Moné, and then fix Chris Jericho. Just fix that situation.
Somehow, some way, yeah.
Those are the four people they can do it, and I think they will do it with some of those names I said. I think with Mercedes, by Double or Nothing, when we actually get matches, I think there's a very good chance that she'll actually have a good run. Malachi Black depends on whether he has singles matches. Jay White, they have every opportunity to do good things with. They're just choosing not to. I don't know why, but they should. Jericho is probably the hardest one to deal with. But there's hope. Sometimes Jericho just randomly comes up with something great. Like, he was having a really shit babyface tenure, like, just briefly at the end of 2021, and then immediately he turned heel, started the JAS, and then had a great run for, like, 6 to 8 months after that. So anything can happen. And again, I also will mention, like, this is not new. Back in when he returned in 2007, early 2008, he had the Y2J return tour run, which got really stale really quickly. And then he turned heel and became serious jacket and suit Jericho and had the best run of his career. So there's always every chance he could turn it around. But it just feels like for a long time, it's been a problem. Like, when was the last time Jericho was really good? Like, it's got to be 2022, right?
Yeah, it was end of 2022. Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough stuff. But yes, I like what they're doing with Jack Perry. That's nice to see. I don't know how they're going to have the Khan family factor into it. I assume they're going to have people represent them in the matches, but yeah. It's nice to see AEW do good stuff. So let it may continue. Hopefully Double or Nothing continues this trend of very good shows. Double or Nothing last year had some really good matches on it, but it was a very inconsistent show. The biggest problem being, no surprises, Chris Jericho's match with Adam Cole, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
That was sad.
Oh. It's funny. I didn't watch that show. I didn't watch any of that show. I remember. I skipped on that one.
I mean, the second half of that show is really good. It's a shame that it's remembered for that first match, because there's some genuinely great matches on that show.
Oh god.
The way they ended Jade's streak was very strange. Like babyface Chris Statlander coming out after Jade just wrestled was just, I don't know, it's just a strange choice. But that show had the Pillars 4-way match, which was one of my favorite matches of last year. And it seems like your internet may have cut out, so I'm going to end the stream here. Oh, he's crackling.
Hello.
Is your internet cutting out?
I can hear you fine.
Oh Jesus! I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. Anyway, I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye. Bang. I can